Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for speaking.
Please introduce yourself and tell us what you do.
Yeah, so my name is Tola Daniel. I'm the founder and CEO of Kairos and Tola, which is a strategic communications advisory that I set up about 2 years ago now, after like 20 decades doing PR and strategic comms, with a specific reason, because I believed in Kairos, meaning we're in a very specific moment where we're seeing a lot of global shifts, and it's like, well, what are we going to do in those moments? And for me, that calling was, how do I connect global North resources to global South opportunity, starting with Africa at the heart of that.
Amazing. And that's really the essence of this conversation that we're having here.
Absolutely.
At Unstoppable Africa.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I was just telling a friend, I said, look, right now it's clear that the world's being rewired, and the only way to the future is through Africa. If you look at climate change, food security, energy, like there's no other way because of the demographics. So we're not peripheral to this, we're quite central. The question is, what are we going to do with it? And how quickly are we going to move, and how are we going to move? As a collective or in pieces, with strategy or not? And then specifically, as a storyteller and strategist in that sense, we're looking at, is our story fit for purpose? You know, right now, a lot of the narrative is quite outdated. It's about aid, and it's about, risk, or none of these things don't exist, but we need to push forward
in the single narrative.
Exactly.
Yes.
And so that's the flip side when it's not done well. But then, when WTO DG was talking about the fact that the U.S. only does 13% of global trade, and yet we feel like the U.S. is this big gorilla when there's 70-something% on the table. So that's a story told well.
Yeah.
And Africa needs to learn from that.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. So do you think Africa has a branding problem?
I don't think of it as I think Africa has a branding opportunity.
Okay.
Right? But that opportunity will only come to life if there are a couple of things. Number one, actual infrastructure, actual industry. So I loved hearing about, building value chains, reinvesting that in our community. Like our creative economy has massive potential, but we'll only get like 1 or 2 burners or 1 or 2 tilers or whatever if we don't build a system that hold those up. So AFCT and all these things can push it forward. I think we also think about the right messengers. There's folks like me. I am in a bridge. I'm not fluently African, but I'm not fluently American or global, but I can speak enough to be dangerous. And so I can tell stories that connect the dots. There are 200 million of me with their own superpowers. So Africa also needs a diaspora strategy to engage that audience.
So what does that look like?
What does that look like? Well, there are a couple of ways you go about it. Right now, I've been part of a group called Opportunity Africa. It's powered by Brand Africa, who do the Brand Africa 100 list of the top brands in Africa, and also Africa No Filter. And with really strong support from the AU, we've come together as cultural strategists, communicators, and we've said, okay, Africa has opportunity. So it's called Opportunity Africa as a council, and we said, we're going to do the job of reframing Africa's narrative as progress and possibility, because it needs to be done. It's not enough to have attention, we need to have action. And it's not enough to have possibility, you need to have proof. So, how do you turn those headlines into pipelines? That's what a good story can do. And so we want to have the story match up with all the great strategy folks have been talking about today.
Where do I sign up? I love it. I love it.
Executive Director at AfricaNoFilter.com. I mean, that's .org, I should say. Sorry. That's really important, actually. We're looking for partners to drive this forward. It's a shared story, and we have to figure out how to activate it. So Executive Director at AfricaNoFilter.org.